Hi, my name is Julia Streets. I am a businesswoman by day. I run a business in London, and in my spare time I'm a stand-up comedian and a writer.
Lovely. How did you get into that?
Well, about 6 years ago I had just come out of a job, a sort of big corporate job, and I had a bit of time on my hands, and I thought, actually, well, too many people to ignore had said to me, have you thought about doing stand-up comedy? And I thought, if I don't do it now, at the age of then, what was I, sort of 36, I'll always regret it. So I took some time out and I did it properly. I wrote a show, took it to the Edinburgh Fringe.
So do you find that your corporate background informs what you do?
Yeah, I always say that no clients are harmed in the making of my show, but yeah, it does. I mean, everything I write about is observations of corporate life. I'm probably the only comedian who enjoys being in an office, but I try deliberately not to make it feel too kind of David Brent, the office-y. But yeah, it's all driven by and a lot of stories of things that happened to me throughout my career as well.
Do you find that you encounter more women now, or have you maybe noticed that there's been an increase in women comedians hoping to be in the profession?
Well, I'm a member of Funny Women, which is the network of female comedians. So actually most of my gigs, not all of them, but a large proportion of my gigs are with women. And I have to say, going to an all-female gig is a lot of fun, and these women are hysterically funny. So anybody who says that women are not funny, it's just nonsense, because they're brilliant. And a real range of experiences and types, and to the highest possible standard as well. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about your book?
It's called The Lingua Franca of the Corporate Banker, and it's not about finance, it's about my irritation with corporate language. So, people say things like, my door is always open. I always say, you should never trust anyone who tells you their door is always open. It's like people who say, we'll touch base, well, you're not touching mine. And it is basically, it's a glossary of more than 500 corporate expressions that people use every day. But then also, it's got, I wrote to hundreds of executives that I work with, and I asked them which was the most irritating and any new ones. And it also explores a bit about why we use these expressions, and also the fact that I used to be the worst abuser ever, but over the years I've stopped doing it, and kind of why that is. So it's quite fun. It's got quite a serious business message, which is internationally, if you want to do business, you need to cut out all these expressions. But also it's got a kind of humorous side as well. So yeah, I'm very excited about it.
What advice would you have for would-be female comedians?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't hesitate. If you've got a story to tell, if you've got a sense of humour, get out there. There are many, many ways to do that, and I would say I would get in contact with Funny Women. So Funny Women run a national awards scheme every year, and you can contact them and basically go through the heats, and that's a really good way. The other thing, there are loads of open mic nights, so to just get out there and do it. And I think the saddest thing is when people reach a certain age and then they think, I could have done that, but I just never did it. Work on your material, get out there. And it's also like kind of earning your stripes, really. The more gigs you do, the more your confidence will pick up. And it's great for building confidence in other aspects of our lives. I think as women, quite often we tend to undersell ourselves a bit. But actually what I've seen is these amazing women who have incredible lives building their confidence by the use of comedy, which is really, really wonderful to see.
How would you say that the boardroom compares to the entertainment industry? Is it particularly dominated by a certain type of person, for example?
It's a lot of... it's a very good question, actually. A lot of boardroom behaviour is quite funny to observe. I think actually any combination of people in any scenario is quite funny to watch. Lots of alpha females and alpha males, certainly, but it's interesting. It is like comedy. If you have a lineup of comedians, you don't want all your comedians to be exactly the same. So you might have some that are very loud, more brash perhaps. Others are quieter, tell kind of more considered stories. Some who are just pumping out the one-liners. And actually, if you look at a good boardroom, you should have a complete mix of personalities to make the best board. The fun thing is watching how they interact with each other. So sometimes the quieter people are more effective than the noisy people. So yes, it's kind of it's the mix of people in one environment that is interesting to watch.
So what are your future plans? Are you going to keep up the 2 day jobs, or the day job and the night job?
The day job that apparently I'm very good at, because people tell me I shouldn't give it up. What am I going to do? I have no idea. And if you'd asked me 6 years ago, would I run my own business and be a stand-up comedian and have a book published? I'd said, you know, there's no chance of it. I've got a really open mind, actually. I'm doing a lot of very, very interesting kind of corporate gigs. I do a lot of charity gigs. In fact, I don't make much money from the comedy. I tend to do it mostly for charity, which sounds a bit smug. I don't mean it to at all. But I mean, as long as people keep booking me and as long as I keep making people laugh and I'm writing interesting material, then long may it continue.
Brilliant. A lot of comedians kind of have a trajectory from the Edinburgh Fringe to a TV show. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
I have to really think about. I have a business, I employ people, I am responsible for them putting food on the table and for paying their mortgages. So I don't take that lightly at all. I have to really think about kind of where that's going to take me.
Well, I think you should be on QI.
I would love to do QI. I would love to do QI. I just think that, I mean, I have no idea how that would ever come true. But yes, that's that kind of thing I quite enjoy. And I love live performance as well, so live moments, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I don't know if you've got anything else to add, or?
I don't think so. But I would say particularly to women, is, you know, get out there and do it. If you've got a moment's hesitation, it's a moment too long. You know, there are ways in which to do that. And I think that, and I certainly have seen so many women, their confidence builds, you know, and it's just a joy to watch people, particularly people who feel like, you know, life and family and work, and, you know, we're on this kind of treadmill, which as women we tend to kind of sort of get ourselves into, we tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say oppressed, but we're a little bit more obsessed perhaps with the way that we get onto this kind of treadmill. And it is an amazing contribution to your life that will make you just feel so much better and much more confident.
Well, brilliant. Thank you very much, Julie.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.